Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal. I review supplements, and in this video you're going to learn about my take on pregnenolone, and I'm going to share with you the reason why I'm not choosing to supplement with it. The reasons may actually surprise you. Pregnenolone is the one supplement that has a whole bunch of mixed reviews. There's a lot of confusion around why individuals use it. Some individuals may use it to potentially increase their testosterone levels, while as other users may actually use pregnenolone to help them with anti-aging. And it's believed that pregnenolone is becoming increasingly popular because of the fact that it's a pretty well-tolerated supplement. When you ingest it, you adjust your pregnenolone levels, and that as a result can also adjust levels of DHEA, levels of testosterone potentially. So there's a lot of good reasons as to why you may want to consider taking it, but there's also some warnings that you should know about. So the first thing we would want to take a look at is why would you want to even consider supplementing with pregnenolone? In most cases, it's going to be because you think that your pregnenolone levels are low. But we really need to address the root cause here. If your pregnenolone levels are low, what's the reason for that? It could be stress. It could be that you have low thyroid levels. It could be that you're not consuming enough cholesterol in your diet or vitamin A. So it's really important that if you are to choose to increase your pregnenolone levels, do a blood test first. Make sure you actually believe you're low, because it's pretty insignificant for you to have excessively high pregnenolone levels, as that could disrupt other hormones. And of course, you don't want to shock up your system too much. And then in the event that you objectively see that your pregnenolone levels are low, see what other lifestyle factors could come into play for you to potentially increase this, because it's really important here that you address the root cause. Similar to taking testosterone, if you have low testosterone for some reason, you would want to look at your diet, make sure you're having enough saturated fat, make sure you're eating enough, perhaps consider exercising. And the same thing could be said about pregnenolone. And if you think that your pregnenolone levels are low, you're too lazy to overlook everything else, and you just want to take some pregnenolone, it doesn't actually work that way, because you need three essential things in order for you to increase your pregnenolone levels. First, you want to make sure that you have decent T3 levels. T3 levels are very commonly checked when you're doing just a basic thyroid check. I personally use 50 micrograms of cytomel every single day to make sure that I have adequate T3 levels, as I've had low thyroid in the past. The second thing that we would need is LDL cholesterol. And this may sound confusing because LDL cholesterol is very commonly known as the bad cholesterol, but you're going to need it in order for you to generate more pregnenolone. And the third thing that you would want to make sure you're getting an adequate supply of would be vitamin A, ideally in natural forms and not using the supplement. So if you have these three things, T3, you have high LDL levels, and you have vitamin A, then what happens is you get energy and you have pregnenolone. And once you have pregnenolone, then it can do all kinds of things. Like one, for example, is increased levels of DHEA, DHA being related to testosterone. So what we want is our body to not only be able to create pregnenolone and have good pregnenolone levels, but also protect your pregnenolone levels. And how you can do that really, as shown, is through diet. So make sure that you have a good mix of protein, fats, carbohydrates. Obviously, complex carbohydrates are better than simple carbohydrates. We want to do our best to avoid processed foods. And you want to consider pregnenolone to be like the master precursor, because it's linked to very important hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, and DHEA. And some of the benefits that may be associated to higher pregnenolone levels versus lower ones would be things like better hormone regulation, being in a better mood. That's a big one. As per this anecdote over here, one individual actually called it the most amazing antidepressant they used. Somebody else had mentioned that they're a whole new person as it cured their depression. However, it is worth pointing out that I've done a lot of research on this specific compound, and I have found no studies whatsoever that show pregnenolone can potentially improve somebody's mood, or any reason why it would. Like, what is the mechanism of action behind that? And it could be because of the fact that perhaps pregnenolone could help individuals to some extent with their energy levels and help them to better tolerate higher levels of stress. And then even through browsing anecdotes, I was really hoping to see individuals that had actually used pregnenolone for more than a year perhaps, or more than a month, and could better report their experience and whether or not they were still experiencing the same benefits that they experienced from the first couple months of using it. Now, we don't really have that. And so I look at pregnenolone like it's a bit of a risk, in the sense of why mess up something that's already working? If you're already pretty happy with your levels of energy, with your testosterone level, with your lifestyle, with your sleep, then there's no need to really shake things up. It's not like we're using this supplement to increase our testosterone levels. Usually when we're naturally increasing our testosterone levels, there's only good things about that, in the sense of better sleep and better energy levels. Now, I'm somebody that's been using thyroid medication for over a decade now. I've tried T3, I've tried T4. I finally found something good where I'm mixing both T3 and T4. And so that's the reason why I'm going to stay clear of pregnenolone. I still get my blood work checked every quarter or so to monitor my thyroid levels. They're not perfect. We're still not perfect. We're finding the right solution. So that's the reason I'm personally going to be staying away from pregnenolone. Though if you're an individual that perhaps you feel low energy levels, perhaps you can't sleep, perhaps you've been looking for a solution to your mood or to whatever circumstance you're going through, those are the individuals that may benefit from using using a supplement like pregnenolone. The third benefit potentially related to pregnenolone use would be better stress regulation, and I do believe this to be true in the sense of more pregnenolone could be better in this situation, though we do want to acknowledge the fact that we want to ensure our cortisol levels are okay before consuming pregnenolone, because of the fact that if you have elevated cortisol levels and you're using pregnenolone, it may not be safe. And actually, there have been individuals that have reported noticing even higher cortisol levels after the ingestion of pregnenolone. So some of the reasons why you may have high cortisol levels could be lack of sleep, could be a poor diet, perhaps rich in carbohydrates, lower in some of the important nutrients and macronutrients. So that's something you want to be mindful. So definitely make sure that your cortisol levels are at bay, perhaps then consider using something like pregnenolone. And the fourth benefit would be around cognitive function. And if it was me, this would probably be the only reason why I would consider using pregnenolone, is because of the fact that individuals do report, again, just anecdotally, that they feel better in the future when you're using pregnenolone. So it could be seen like a supplement like fish oil, and that you're not taking fish oil for its immediate benefits, but more so what it could do for you long term in terms of disease prevention, in terms of heart health, and so on. And so I'm often seeing it talked about in supplement communities about using pregnenolone to eventually be sharper in your 60s and 70s and so forth, which I think is really exciting. And I'm just hoping that we have some research that can shed some light on this. And while we do have plenty of good experiences reported about pregnenolone, we as well have bad experiences that are reported across the internet. Now, some individuals actually use pregnenolone during PCT, so post-cycle therapy, if they're using testosterone, or individuals actually have it as part of their testosterone program if they're on testosterone replacement therapy. I've personally been on testosterone replacement therapy in the past, although I was able to comfortably actually get off of it, and I've never used pregnenolone. So while we have mixed opinions, we also have very mixed perspectives on how much you should be taking each day. So when it comes to the serving size, I've seen serving sizes from 20 milligrams up to 200 milligrams per day. And something very intriguing is that Nootropics Depot actually has a product called micronized pregnenolone tablets, which are only 5 milligrams, because they say that a small dose could in many cases be better versus having a larger dose, and that most individuals don't need to take as much pregnenolone as is typically marketed. On their website, it reads, another fascinating aspect of pregnenolone is that it is a potent neurosteroid which can modulate cognitive function and mood. And there is a magic of a low dose due to the fact that escalating doses of pregnenolone gradually start to produce only progesterone. This means that in lower doses, it's pro-androgenic, while in higher doses, it may even be anti-androgenetic. And anti-androgenetic is what you would link with blocking the production of testosterone. Therefore, this may help to enhance mood, confidence, vitality, and muscle strength. And further, it will work nicely along together testosterone boosters such as Tonkat Ali. Tonkat Ali is one of my favorite testosterone boosters out there that is naturally occurring. I've talked about it more in this video over here. As well, they mentioned it can go nicely with Cistache tubulosa as well as Shilajit. With respect to side effects, some immediate ones that you should look out for. We've already talked about how it could potentially adjust your hormone levels for the better or for the worse, but that usually in most cases takes some time for you to find out. But some immediate ones that you may want to watch out for would be things like acne, agitation, diarrhea, drowsiness, excitement, being overexcited, hair loss, skin rashes, sweating, and tremor. I'd love to know your thoughts on pregnenolone. Would you consider supplementing with it? And if so, why? And if you have used it in the past, be sure to share your experience, because that will be valuable for all of us. I really appreciate your support. Do subscribe if you found the video informative and would like to see more content like this. And if you want to chat me one-on-one, you can consider messaging me on Patreon. And be sure to visit our Discord server. We have a 24/7 chat room and having a whole lot of fun. I thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you next time.